Poker Problems episode 273B.
Back to Basics.
The item episode. Welcome to the Poker Problems podcast. This is Miz Sylver.
And I'm the Wolf Doctor.
And we'd like to welcome you to the podcast where we talk about how we always need more bag space.
Gosh, that part's very true.
Well, today we're going to be talking about items in Pokemon Go. What are they? Where do you get them? Can you eat them?
Some of them.
I know, I would definitely like to eat all the berries.
So, items. It's one of those top-level menu things. When you click on the bottom with the Pokeball at the bottom of your screen, you see, Pokedex, shopping, battle, Pokemon, and items.
Ooh.
If you click on items, it takes you to your item inventory, where there are many categories of items. And we're going to talk today about any of those items that otherwise wouldn't get its own show.
And Wolf Doctor, earlier, or should I say on episode 273, I was talking about how I loved items, which I do. And then I realized clothing aren't even items, are they?
Nope, they're not. So you don't really love items, Miss
No,
Sylver.
I do. There's so many other things to love.
So when you start the game, your default item storage space is 350
Whoa, wait.
items.
Was that how many we could have? 350 items?
Yeah.
Wolf Doctor, I got like almost 1,200 items right now.
I have 1,250 as my storage now. Each of those storage bumps, 50 extra items, is 200 coins. That's like the standard exchange for bag space. The upper limit of item storage changes. It's gone up through the years, but right now I believe it's 7,300 items. That is a lot of 200 coin increments to get there.
7,000?
Yes.
Over 7,000?
Yes. And the reason I mention this number, the maximum number, is actually important in Pokemon Go. Not the max that you could possibly achieve, but the max on your inventory. Because if you get up to your max limit that you have, whether it's 350, 1,250 like me, or 7,300 like the maximum you could have, if you have that many items, you can no longer gain items outside of research redemption.
And it doesn't let you spend Pokestops.
Yeah, you can't.
That's the most important thing.
Can't spend Pokestops. Your items are full. If you do a battle of some kind, you'll only receive non-item rewards. I think the only way to get over that number is if you've spun a stop and get just over. Like if you have 349 and you spin a stop and you get 3 items, you get all those 3 items, but you won't be able to get any more after that. The only way to bump up against that is through research rewards, because they won't deny you redeeming a research with an item-based reward.
I occasionally see threads on social media talking about people trying to max out how many items they have by trying not to use any and just getting more and more from all these alternative ways.
Right.
How big can the number get?
It can be quite large, Miss Sylver, quite large.
I didn't even realize the cap was 7,300. I thought it might be something like, I don't know, 2,000. What are you doing with 7,300 items? Are they 7,300 rare candy?
I don't know. We'll get into that stuff later.
I mean, if you could hold different gifts, then I could be like, okay, you're holding 500 different gifts with different amazing images, but just what? Someone who has their item inventory maxed out, I want to know the breakdown. Please show it to me. I must know.
Yes, I think that should actually be a Reddit thread. Show us your item inventory. Now, Miss Sylver, let's talk about the different categories of items. Well, even before that, you can organize your items in 2 ways. There's a little button in the upper right. You can organize them as
witchcraft.
Yes,
Wolf Doctor, did you make this button appear on my screen? This was not here earlier today.
I don't think it's been here forever. It's just something fairly recent. But you can have
what the hat nay is that? Where did that button come from? That is not a real button.
You can have the items in a list, just one per row that includes the description. Or with this button, you can toggle to 3 in a row without the description, just the quantity.
Wolf Doctor, my life has been a lie. I can change how these items appear in my bag. What? I love this alternate view that I didn't have, where I don't need the full description. We just have all the medicine here, all the Pokeballs here, the berries here, the gifts, trainer boosts, other items. What?
Yes.
Lures. This is beautiful.
Now, Miz Sylver, one of the features that many of the items will have is a trash can button, which allows you to get rid of some amount of items by clicking on the trash can button. And it has a quantity. If you have more than one item, you can go up by pressing the plus button to the quantity, or you can press the minus button and it will scroll around to the maximum amount.
I wonder how many potions and Pokeballs I've thrown in the trash.
Right. So let's start talking about the different kinds of items, Miz Sylver. Let's start with the medicine category. And a lot of these items kind of have their roots in regular Pokemon games. So what are the different medicines, Miz Sylver?
Well, you'll have things that you recognize from very early in the game, like potions, of course. And anytime your Pokemon gets injured, you can use these to heal them. A potion just heals for, a little bit, 20 hit points.
What are the next versions of potions? There's many.
Wolf Doctor, I might have deleted some of the other ones. I mean, there's max potions that just heal your Pokemon all the way. Those are the only potions, right? Wait.
There's Super Potion, which is worth 50. Hyper Potion, which is the pink one that's worth 200 HP. And Max Potion, which heals your Pokemon to full HP. Miz Sylver and I were discussing recently, why do they need both Hyper and Max? I honestly think that's partially a holdover from earlier games. They wanted to have all the same ones. And there are some times when you could need to heal more than 200 HP. I mean, let's just talk about revives for a second. There's revives and max revive. A revive brings your Pokemon up to half HP from 0, and a max revive fully restore, like it awakens and fully restores your Pokemon's HP. If you use a revive on almost any Pokemon, the remaining half will not be 200 HP in Pokemon Go. So, for that purpose, a Hyper Potion and a Max Potion are effectively the same. But imagine you've got a Mega Evolved Pokemon that's up at the top of its levels, and you are down to 1 HP on that Pokemon. That could actually be more than 200 easily.
That'd be a lot, yeah.
It's not 2 Hyper Potions worth, but it's more than 1 Hyper Potion, which is not the case for most of these things. That also touched on revives and max revives, but those are some basic items that you will use in Pokemon Go. What about Pokeballs, Miz Sylver?
Here's the best category of items, the balls.
Is that your favorite category, your balls?
I think it might be. I wish that we had more ball types in Pokemon Go, because things like the luxury balls are one of my favorites, and then all of the other things like the love balls or the apricorn balls. So I hope to see more.
Yeah. Right now we only have, there's only 4 you can have in your inventory. Premier balls that are used, or like the balls, the max raid balls, which are different balls, like all those only appear during those battles and can only be used there and do not go into your inventory. But there are 4 kinds of balls you will see in your inventory: Pokeball, Great Ball, Ultra Ball, and Master Ball.
Wolf Doctor, how many Master Ball do you have?
I have 2 right now.
Oh, as do I.
So all of those have increasing catch chances. The exact formula is something we'll get into another time. Master Balls are a guaranteed catch, and they cannot be deleted from your inventory.
I am glad that they can't be accidentally deleted, though I've heard horror stories of parents handing their accounts to children and
having them use their Master Balls. That's why this is the number one reason not to have children. What if they ruin your Pokemon Go account? Miz Sylver, this is also a good time to bring up that in your inventory, some items are kind of quote unquote grayed out. They're not fully bright. The potions you can actually click on and use in your inventory, but the Pokeballs, if you click on one, you get a message that says this item can't be used here.
I can't just throw it at you?
Yeah, so certain items will be kind of grayish, like faded, and you cannot use them from this menu, but the ones you can interact with will be fully vibrant. All right, Miz Sylver, next category, berries.
All right, this is the next best category because you can eat them. Well, I like to pretend. There's raspberries, nanab berries, golden raspberries, silver pineapple berries. Oh, and pineapple berries.
Regular pineapple berries.
I'm just out of them because I use them all the time.
I use them all the time. We'll talk about berries and catching another time, but we just wanted to cover these weird items in this weird place.
Well, I think it should be talked about just a little bit because these berries are not exactly the same as their counterparts in the mainline games.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is kind of interesting. Like they all have different purposes where the raspberry makes something easier to catch and the nanab berry makes the Pokemon less agitated.
Makes it easier to throw your ball. Yeah. There's so many fewer kinds of berry in Pokemon Go than in regular Pokemon, and you can't craft with them or like there's just a lot less you can do with berries, but their purpose is very clear on how you use them in catching. They can also be used to feed Pokemon who are in gyms to increase their HP while they're in the gym. So there are multiple purposes, just less than before.
I do wonder why these specific berries were chosen as opposed to something, well, I guess orange berries heal things typically, but raspberry and nanab berry, I don't know if they were chosen for their design or what. Or the pineapple berry, of course, that gives you more candy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Why these three?
I think they're some of the most analogous to regular food berries, so maybe they wanted to make them more approachable.
As I often hear people call them pineapples or bananas.
Yeah, yes. All right, the next category of items in your inventory is gifts. And we've talked about gifts and stickers before. This includes gifts, stickers, and your postcard book, which you can click on and look in your postcards that you have received.
Wait, this might be the second best category of items. No, I love them all.
My goodness, the postcard book has a new background right now.
This almost looks like some sort of 90s inspired background. When did this appear?
I don't know. This seems completely new to me.
I just noticed this morning, actually, and I was very confused.
Maybe they're going to start doing different ones for different seasons. Incredible. Because before it was just a plain background, like a plain blue, the same blue that they use in a lot of the menus, that light kind of blue background.
And this is exciting.
But you can view your gifts here, as we discussed, delete gifts. You can view the stickers you have available to you, and click through to purchase more stickers or view your postcard book through this menu.
We did do a little bit talking about capacity, and your stickers do not count towards your max item capacity.
That is correct.
You can have as many stickers as the game lets you get.
I think, and I'm not 100% sure on this, Miz Sylver, any item that doesn't have a number on it does not count towards your inventory. So some things have an inventory of 1, like certain passes and tickets and stuff have an inventory of 1, but I believe the ones that do not have a number of 1 do not count.
This is intriguing.
The Wolf Doctor is saying things that she believes to be true, but is not sure about. So it's hard to check because I've never gone through and added up all the numbers.
I'm either just going to have to delete all my items or I have to add them all up because now I want to know.
Right? That total fluctuates so quickly because of the items you get from gyms and stuff. So, trainer boosts.
Ooh. See, this is another good category, too. We have things like incense. And daily adventure incense is a separate item. Do you think that counts? Oh, no, that one doesn't have a time zone.
Doesn't have a number.
Because it just regenerates every day.
The coin bag, which is the Gimme Ghoul coin bag thing.
Oh, and similarly, the mystery box, where you can get your Meltan from.
Right, and those are both items you can click on and interact through this menu. but you have to have other. We'll talk about what you actually have to do to them another time. But there's also star pieces and lucky eggs.
Ooh. If you're trying to max your Pokemon Go capacity. Ooh. I almost accidentally clicked on a star piece to use it. Those ones will give you bonus Stardust for a half hour, and Lucky Eggs will give you bonus XP for a half hour.
And those are dependent on different events, too. So some events give you bonuses for things like extending the amount of time you get on those items.
And one thing that we should remember, I know we're talking about like the items menu, but recently with the party features, we can share some items with our party.
That's right.
Like these ones in particular, the Lucky Egg, the Star Piece, the Incense.
That's right. Now, these items, the way you activate them is actually coming to this item thing, as far as I can tell. I haven't ever been able to say activate a star piece without coming to my item inventory, clicking it here, and clicking to use it. Is there another way, Miz Sylver?
There is. If you're about to do a raid, there's the option to activate Lucky Eggs or Star Pieces beforehand. And then if you go inside, after you've started a party, the little party menu that's popped up, that's how you'll activate your items to share them.
Oh, interesting. Okay, great. And then there's the mysterious other items category.
What could possibly be in here? I mean, oh, this is a really good category, too. We've got Rare Candy, which you use to level your Pokemon, and Rare Candy XL.
This is also where you get the weird Team Go Rocket stuff, like the mysterious components and the shards. That mysterious components that turn into rocket radars and the shards that turn into purified gems.
There's also Poffins.
Which I think it's kind of fascinating that Poffins are one of the other items. I don't know where I'd put it otherwise. Because I guess it's not really a berry because you don't use it in battle, but you feed it to your Pokemon.
Oh, because all of the berries you could use in battle. They just have the additional option to use when you're interacting with your Pokemon buddy.
Yeah, and then your incubators will all be there. Your incubator Infinity, the one that lasts forever, and any other regular or special incubators show up here. They don't have a number on them because I don't believe the number counts against your total.
I just love the designs for the Rare Candy and the Rare Candy XL because their rainbow appearance. They look delicious.
Yeah, they have a very sparkly, delicious appearance. Your passes is also another category, and that includes both raid passes, including your base, like daily, once a day raid pass, your premium battle passes, and your remote raid passes.
Oh, and they also put the research passes for Go Battle League in there too.
Right. Any ticket you buy ends up in there.
So if you were going to a Pokemon Go event like Go Fest, your Go Fest ticket would go in here?
I believe so. And they all kind of have that look, that weird kind of rounded look with a ribbon on it for you could wear it. It's like a neck lanyard on it too. So all of those end up in this passes section.
I've never looked at the pictures for the passes closely. I'm like, oh, those are lanyard necklace things.
They all look a little different. And I don't know, like, I feel like sometimes they reuse the ticket, but some of them I think are different from each other.
I've seen some things from Pokemon Go make their way into reality to purchase, like the little incubator bags to put on your back.
Oh yeah, I love those.
I've seen they have like a lanyard you can buy to put your information on.
Does it look like one of these?
It kind of looks like this, not exactly, but it just made me think of that item you can buy from the Pokemon Center. I want all versions of this for sale now.
I know. There's also the lures category.
Ooh. And this is where you'll get your typical pinkish, purplish half-hour lures that you can attach to a Pokestop to make more Pokemon appear. Or the special lures.
The glacial lure.
Ooh. The mossy lure.
The magnetic lure.
Or the rainy lure.
And you can have a lot of those, but they do count because they've got a number on them.
Yes.
And then there's the key items.
Ooh. Similar to mainline games, there's always the key item pouch.
And those items don't have numbers, but you can interact with them from here. There's the Zygarde cube, which you can just click on the Zygarde cube and it'll tell you how many Zygarde cells you have.
How many cells do you have, Wolf Doctor?
27.
Wow.
What, Miss Sylver, you have less than that? I'm terrible.
We don't need to talk about how many I have.
Okay. Well,
I'm not Tiamat from Ohio with my Zygarde strolling about the countryside.
I know. What about the camera, Miss Sylver?
Ooh. You can use this to take snapshots of recently caught Pokemon.
It does all kinds of, I mean, any Pokemon you can take a snapshot of, but this is a way if you click on that camera, it brings you to explaining the camera a little bit, which is a little different from the other spots where you click on the camera. It also has groupings. It has like decorating instructions. It has lots of different little options here. You can also pick Pokemon, like with a select Pokemon button, and it takes you to your Pokemon inventory to pick up to 3 Pokemon for your snapshots.
I might have to start using this a little bit more.
I know neither of us is super versed in camera, and I think we both. There's been a lot of great additions, and we need to probably learn more about it. Maybe we need to have Chris explain more camera stuff to us so that we could have him as a guest on the show to explain how to do Pokemon snapshots, because things have changed for the better.
Yeah, and now that I have a phone that is from this century and works, maybe I could start trying to take more of these cool AR shots.
Yes. What about TMs? That's the next category.
Ooh. This is a category I like a lot. We've got fast TMs and charged TMs for changing out your moves. But more importantly, the elite fast TMs and elite charged TMs, which will let you select moves that you normally can't pick all the time.
Which is sweet.
Yes, learn those community day moves of ultimate power.
And then, of course, the evolution items. I think that's our last category.
Oh. I love this category. I just wish I used them more because I feel like I always get too many of them because I just love the visual appearance of things like the Sunstone or the King's Rock or the Metal Coat or the Dragon Scale.
I do love the items. They're cool. Now, the Gimmickle coins, I think, are the one exception. They have a number on them, but because they cannot be deleted, they do not take up bag space. That's what I am told.
Fascinating. I think this just means there's going to have to be a project between this week and next week to find out what counts and what doesn't count.
I know. We're going to have to work on that a little more.
Follow up.
I believe they don't count, though, for bag space, based on what I've read.
If only we could delete the undeletable items to find out. No.
I know.
Do you have a favorite item, Wolf Doctor?
Oh, that is a very tough question because they're all so different, Miss Sylver.
They are. Maybe you had one.
Well, appearance-wise, let's just say the ones I like the looks of the best. I really agree with you on the whole candy thing. Like the Rare Candy and Rare Candy XL are just great-looking items. I also, even though they're not my favorite items, I do appreciate the Elite and Fast and Charged TMs. I think they're very pretty looking. Like the colors on them, they're pretty.
And they're functional.
And they're quite functional. And I do agree with you that the evolution items are fun. Do you have a favorite item?
I'm not sure if I do either. I guess appearance-wise, the star piece is the other one that is also
very sparkly.
Quite lovely.
In terms of functionality, the ones I actually buy the most are the incubators. Like, that's where I spend most of my coins. You spend yours on clothes. I buy incubators.
And Wolf Doctor, I'm checking out the shop right now to see which items you can buy, and there are new things you can buy in the shop, though these are things that don't count as items. I don't think they do. The max particles.
You can buy them now? Oh, no. Oh, Miss Sylver, now I have a very tough item-related question for you. So you have 1,200 items, 1,250, something like that?
Around there.
What is your allocation of items, roughly?
Ooh.
Like, how many Pokeballs in total do you tend to keep around?
I try and keep of regular Pokeballs hovering around 75 just in case events show up.
Regular ones?
But now I'm a little bit torn about how to do my breakdown as I shoot for around 40 of the other Pokeball types, just because with the new Pokeball Plus with Sonic and Knuckles and Tails, you can change the type of Pokeball that's automatically thrown. So now I can be like, oh, because it's Spotlight Hour for Chinchu and that's blue, I'll switch all the Pokeballs being thrown to Great Balls.
This is fascinating. What is most of your items then? Because
I have no idea.
Roughly half of my items, I keep around 500 regular Pokeballs.
500?
It's way more than I need normally, but on a community day, I've gone through a lot of balls because I'm auto-catching.
Wow.
Like, I've never gone through 500 in a shot, but I've certainly
Could be possible.
dropped down, several hundred Pokeballs. So for me, I would say half of my items are Pokeballs, roughly.
Wow. It seems like I have a really wide dispersion looking at all of my items, like of all the healing items inside of medicine. I usually shoot to keep around 75 max potions and max revives at all time.
Oh, wow. I aim lower on that.
What do you have?
I tend to aim in the 30s. Like when I get more
What if there's an emergency? No.
Yeah, when I get more than say 50 of each, I start deleting some so I have room for other items.
But Pokeballs just drop like mad from the sky, and items like max revives are not as common.
Now, what about berries? Do you let them build up?
Well, pineapple berries, I use as much as possible. Right now, I just have one. I've gained one during the podcast. But sometimes, if I haven't been using them, I might get up to 100 of them.
I try to, when I get them, I look at how many berries I have. I try to make sure I use them to feed gym creatures. Because if you have a couple creatures in gyms you're trying to raise the level of, like, you can drop, there is a limit to how many berries you can use an hour, but it's like 100 berries. You can feed 100 berries, something like that in an hour.
And you'll get free Stardust for feeding them?
Yeah, and like I do that, and it increases your gym ranking quickly. So I often try to like use them all up. When it comes to things like golden raspberries and silver pineapple berries, I'll never delete them. So how many I have fluctuates a lot.
Oh. And I rarely ever delete berries because I really, really try and just throw them at gyms.
Always use them. Okay.
Though sometimes it gets pretty high up and I'm like, oh gosh, let's go through and throw 50 berries in a gym.
Just bury it up. I try to use golden raspberries occasionally if I've got a gym I'm trying to keep up. So sometimes if I'm really trying to get gold at a gym where I'm far away and I want to make sure my Pokemon stays up there as long as possible, I will raspberry it with golden raspberries. So I don't have an upper limit for how many. Here's the thing about golden raspberries, Miz Sylver. If you are at a raid of any kind, you'll get a lot of golden raspberries. Like if it's a lower level raid, you don't need the golden raspberries. And if it's a legendary, you might want them, but you always get a chunk of golden raspberries as part of your reward. I feel like I can never keep up with the amount I have because I always throw, like preferentially I throw the silver pineapple berries at legendary raids for the first, half of the balls at least. And then I start throwing golden raspberries.
Wolf Doctor. I oftentimes, not always,
regular raspberry.
We'll use a regular pineapple berry for the first few throws.
Sometimes I do that too.
I don't have enough silver pineapple berries to do that much, and I'm like, all right, let's try the regular pineapple berries first, then maybe a couple silver, and then be like, oh no, this is not going well.
Then golden. Yeah, I do sometimes do that too, but I feel like I've always got more golden raspberries. The rewards versus the amount of time I feel like I need them is low, so I use them for that a lot. Gifts is different. It's a fixed number, how many you could have. Sometimes you can use special events. Like if you bought the, what is the name of this event that's going on right now?
Oh, that will let you carry more gifts.
Yeah.
Temporarily.
The daily Pokecoin bounty lets you carry up to 40 gifts, but usually it's a 20 gift limit. So that's a fixed one. Trainer boosts. What about that, Miz Sylver? How many trainer boost items do you have?
Ooh. Trainer boost, it seems like I don't have that many. I just have, whatever is left over from the huge amount of incense that was given out during COVID. I have 19 left because I just always forget to use incense.
I also don't feel like using them unless I have like something else going, right? Like I'm like, oh, let me use this incense because it's community day.
Like those I'll end up probably using one on a community day. But then star pieces and lucky eggs, I've never gone on my way to purchase them. And
right.
I always, I've got about 25 star pieces and 7 lucky eggs, but I'm paranoid that I'll run out. So I feel like I don't use them as optimally as I should sometimes. Just because I'm hoarding them.
Yeah, I feel like anytime I go out I'm trying to be good and use the items. So like if I'm actually at community day in person with other people, I try to make sure I stack incenses and I stack star pieces and I stack lucky eggs. They usually have some kind of incense increasing boost though, so you only need one incense, which is why I have like 30 incense.
And one thing that I do appreciate is that I'm not sure when they did this, Pokemon Go added in the feature that, like the Wolf Doctor just said, you can stack the items. So if you know you're going to be out for a few hours, you can just activate a whole bunch of them and you don't have to go back and reactivate or worry about them running out.
Well, what about other items, Miss Sylver? I feel like these are kind of self-limiting, except for the candy. How much rare candy do you have? That is my other question to you.
I've got around 80 rare candy. I'm not one of those cool people who has hundreds and hundreds.
I have just over 100 right now. And when I get to that number, I think to myself, I need to make more room in my storage. I need to figure out which Pokemon I need to use this candy on. And I have trouble using rare candy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know I should be using it, and I shouldn't be so precious about it, but I want to use it on my legendaries that I care about. And so it's sort of like, am I saving it for perfect stats legendaries, for shiny legendaries? Which legendaries do I consider, quote unquote, worth it to use those rare candies on? And then in some cases, for things like my shiny Rayquaza, that's all, or my shiny Kyogre, those are already at the max regular candy level. So is there someone else I care about as much as that, enough to use the rare candy? Like my shiny Dialga is already at that limit too. So am I going to use those rare candy? I'm not going to trade 100 rare candy for the one rare candy for that legendary. What am I going to do there? Like, that's my problem. Your rate of if you walk your legendary who's already level 47 or something like that, if you walk your legendary who's already like almost up to max level, your rate of getting XL candies is much better. So it's not like it feels worth using 100 regular rare candy to make one legendary candy XL. So it seems like a waste. I feel like this is one of the tough spots. What is the wise use there?
I'm not really sure. And I'm even more paranoid. I do spend my rare candy, but the rare candy XL, I've never spent one. I can't bring myself to do it.
I know, the same.
Confessions.
It's tough. Passes. Do you stock up on passes?
No, I don't stock up on passes, so sometimes I'm out, and sometimes I have them, and it's great.
What about lures? Do you stock up on lures? I don't really stock up on them. They kind of come up.
I don't stock up on them. That's another item, kind of like, I would say, lucky eggs and star pieces. Like incense, I actively use a little bit more, but those I just don't use as much.
Yeah, I probably have I have less than 20 lures total between all the different types.
Ooh.
I try to use them. I want to make sure I have one of each kind if I have an evolution emergency. So
evolution emergency.
You know, because certain lures and certain, right? But I don't save them. What about TMs? Is that your big category?
I hate deleting TMs, but I have to do it anyway. I should delete some of these fast TMs.
How many do you keep as like a quote unquote baseline
I think around
number?
50 is the right number to keep.
50. That's where the difference is here. I'm like, I only keep around 15 to 20 of fast and charged regulars.
I just worry, what if I try and make a weird team for one of the special cups in Pokemon Go and I don't have enough TMs? Did I get unlucky?
How many of each of the elite ones do you have?
Oh, which these I should use more. I forget to use them.
Yeah, if you want to make that weird team, you only need some of these ones. You don't need all the other ones, Miss Sylver.
So I just have a handful, like 5 to 20 of each of those.
Okay.
What about you, Wolf Doctor?
Same. I have 7 fast TM elites and 20 of the charged. I don't think I've ever used one.
Oh, that's why. Because I've definitely used these occasionally.
What about evolution items, Miss Sylver?
Those I try and keep just 5 of, other than the Sinnoh and Unova stone. I don't know why I was paranoid about the stones.
Same. That's the same for me. I that's what I aim for. So, Miss Sylver, I feel like we figured out I keep around way more Pokeballs than you do, and you keep around more medicine, but it sounds like you have a more even distribution of items overall compared to me.
You You keep so many Pokeballs. What does the wolf doctor do? What are you doing with all these balls?
You've definitely made it me like less worried about having Pokeballs. So I'm just gonna have less of them around. I'm gonna delete them more. I don't need them the same way. You're right. Unless it's like a special day and we're really out there doing it. Who cares? I should be less precious about my Pokeballs. Do you keep a lot of Great Balls? Because that's the item I always delete.
Oh, see, I try and keep around 40-ish, though I might be shooting for more now just because when I'm catching Pokemon, I know a lot of people try and optimize to use Ultra Balls on important things, but as much as you can color match between the 3 colors
Miz Sylver, this is the truth, huh?
I try and be like, well, you would look best in this Pokeball. You would look best in this Pokeball of our 3 options. I guess there's technically more, but those are the most common options.
Wow. Okay, Miz Sylver. That is hilarious because I'm like, if I'm manually throwing it, I'm throwing Ultra Balls. Unless I'm trying to do something like put berries on it. Because like say I'm trying to do a quest that requires a certain amount of berry usage or a party challenge or something. Maybe I'm putting a berry and doing a bad throw intentionally with a regular Pokeball to try not to catch it, but to use a berry, right? To increase my berry usage. The Great Ball has no role in that for me. Like, it's either I want to catch it with my Ultra Ball as fast as I can or have the best chance of catching it, or I'm doing it auto catch with the regular Pokeball and my Pokemon Go Plus. I'm just not... the Great Ball is just a trash item for me.
Oh. And see here, I feel like the Great Ball is my favorite of the regular balls because it matches the most Pokemon. It seems like maybe it doesn't. It could just appear that way.
I think it has the best appearance of the 3 balls. I would agree with that.
So I feel like those are the ones I'm more likely to run out of. But now with this new feature where we can choose what Pokeball we can throw, maybe I'll try and break up my ratio a little bit more and make them more even in which Pokeballs to have.
Wow. Well, Miz Sylver, we have talked about items for well over half an hour. We went into this thinking this was going to be a dull and uninteresting topic. Do you remember that?
No, I always thought it would be exciting, of course.
I said, I don't know. Is this a dumb idea to do items? Is that a boring thing to talk about? And that's not even talking about the functionality of all the items. We're really only talking about, kind of the balance of storage, really, is what we've been talking about.
I would love to see the average breakdown of storage that people have now. Like, where do other people put their Pokeballs? Because I know a lot of people, they're like, all balls are trash except for Pokeballs because they're trying to use the auto catcher as much as possible, or they just want Pokeballs and Ultra Balls, and like you, they just cut out the Great Balls.
Yeah, no one needs Great Balls. Miz Sylver. Oh, everyone's different. And also, you keep so many fewer balls than I do.
Oh, I'm aghast at how few healing items. You're the one who actually battles Team Rocket a lot.
I'll admit that sometimes I do get to the, like when it was Team Rocket Invasion last month, a couple weeks ago, yeah. I was like, oh man, I better open some gifts and get some healing items because I am looking a little slim here. Oh. I definitely have gotten up to that, and then I just use trash teams.
Oh. Man, you must have so many. I see people dragging around like literally 100 unconscious Pokemon.
No,
I'm like, who are you? Don't you care about them?
No.
See the X's in their eyes?
No, I don't. I try to heal them as soon as I can. Even if they're kind of trash Pokemon that I might even be throwing away. Like if I randomly put a Pokemon.
Do you transfer them instead of healing them?
No.
Can you transfer an unconscious Pokemon?
Yeah, I think you can. But no, I don't. All right, Miz Sylver, that was our Back to Basics this week. Items. And then may I suggest that we start that Reddit thread somehow about show us your Poke inventory.
Show us your inventory.
Seriously. It isn't like regular Pokemon in that sense. It's very different.
And I think if we look at mainline games, I feel like was there a max number of items you could have in the original game?
I do not remember.
I know you could only have like 99 Master Balls or, there's a max number of certain items you could have.
But you had like a base area where you could, like, in a lot of these, you now have a place where you can store everything. You can like have a storage zone that keeps everything.
There must be a maximum capacity, though.
Yeah, there must be. I think a lot of items probably do have a cap.
You can't just have 20 billion Pokeballs, can you?
I don't know. It makes me nervous, Miz Sylver.
Well, I think that's all we can learn about items for now. Future research is needed. Wolf Doctor, where can people go if they want to look up things about this podcast, learn more about items?
Oh, are you talking about the blog, Miz
The
Sylver?
blog, yes,
The blog?
yes.
The blog?
I don't even know what blog stands for, but yes, the blog.
Oh,
Not the broth or the brog.
okay. That's pokeproblemspodcast.blogspot.com.
For a second there, I thought the Wolf Doctor was going to say brog spot.
I thought so. I was like, no, don't say it. Now I'm going to be saying it. Oh, no. I managed not to say it. Good for me.
And that's the best place to go if you're trying to look up information about the Poke Problems podcast. When it gets posted, you can just go there. But maybe you don't want to have to refresh the page all the time. There are other places you can go to learn about the Poke Problems podcast, like the X. Right, Wolf Doctor?
What? Me?
Have you been to this? It's a website. It's an app.
Oh, the X. Oh, you mean the show's X? What is the show's X? Do we have an X?
There is one, and actually when the show comes out, it's uploaded there immediately, and you can turn on notifications, so you can just be like, oh, there's a new episode right in Meowth.
Is
and
it
listen.
At the Item Quest?
Yes, that's right. It's at Pokemon Cast.
Not Item Cast? Pokemon Cast? Okay.
I want that to be a game, though. Item Quest.
But wait, Miss Sylver. I thought you had an X.
Oh, I'm not sure about that.
Is it Ms. Healing Potions?
Ms. Healer. That's what I am in World of Warcraft. How that happened, I don't know. But no, it's just Miz Sylver. MZSYL. V as in Victor, ER. And Wolf Doctor, I think you have an X, don't you?
Am I the incubator doctor?
She helps everyone. No. I think it's just the Wolf Doctor.
That's right. It's the Wolf Doctor.
Well, I think that just about covers it. We've talked about different types of items, why everyone needs more healing items. This is important. Support your Pokemon. The Wolf Doctor is just all about catching them and banishing them into their little
the theme
Pokeball.
song has got to catch them all. It's not got to heal them all.
You do have a good point. But I would like to thank you for joining us on the Poke Problems podcast.
Thank you for listening.
This is Miz Sylver.
And I am the Wolf Doctor.
And we would like to remind you to game on! Heal your Pokemon.
Heal your Jonathan Marlin.
We should send him a super potion.